SmackDown preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture. Joined by another one of the Darley boys, Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture. Go look at today's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts. We not only review SmackDown, also Monday Night Raw. And the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have roundtable discussion, interviews, and it's Wrestle Culture Complete. Well, bloody good quiz, of course. As I said, though, it's me, Adam, okay, the new. Let's go. Let's talk about SmackDown tonight. Ahead of Clash at the Castle on Saturday. How you feeling, Hamflett?
I knew you were going to do the hello. I'd steeled myself for a hello. I've got a Scottish mate and we kind of mock her whenever we do that. I didn't think you'd do the whole intro.
Oh, I forgot where my bloody manners. By the way, it's SmackDown tonight.
Hang on. To Glasgow, so you can see how I won and then representing Glasgow. Travelling down.
It's all right, I've got ginger ale, it's fine.
Oh, we're going to have to check the analytics of this one after.
Yeah, Clash at the Castle tomorrow. And technically, just full disclosure, in case they announce, I don't know, Roman Reigns is returning. Yeah. We're recording this on Thursday.
Yeah, what is this? Like a train spotting preview? Because I'm just seeing pure cinema in Glasgow. This card tonight, I was going to say, like, the people of Glasgow are getting their money's worth. They're not. The price of those tickets are absolutely disgraceful. As WWE will almost definitely put that graphic up on Saturday that they've broke the all-time gate record or whatever it is. They're chasing something with these obnoxiously priced tickets. But yeah, it's going to be... I'll say it's going to be a hot show, right? I've attended a SmackDown at the Hydro in the past.
Have you?
A very different time. It was 2016, and GM Daniel Bryan spent the night scouring the SmackDown roster, looking in desperation for a wrestler to join Team SmackDown ahead of you may remember, like, critically acclaimed Raw versus SmackDown match from the 2016. It went about an hour. It was the big, proper main event because they were headlining with Goldberg Brock that was only going to go a minute. So we're going to give the Survivor Series brand versus brand match a lot of time and a lot of different stories and angles and all that. So yeah, Daniel Bryan retired. It was sad. Daniel Bryan's never going to wrestle again. And who's he going to put in? Like, there's even a little tease. It's like, this isn't the way that they're teasing Bryan out of retirement, is it? He keeps saying there's nobody available. There's no one wrestler that can fulfill this role. And then he comes out in the main event segment, and there's Team Raw, and there's Team SmackDown. He's like, I've got the only guy that can do it. And he's already stood in this ring. Shane McMahon.
Oh, God.
Will you pick up the mantle? And he did pick up the mantle. And he potatoed Chris Jericho and got knocked out legit on the coast to coast, kicked out of Roman's spear, I think, because he was like, oh, I am. And I love, by the way, look, it must be terrifying being out there it must be terrifying doing anything in wrestling, let's be honest. It must be terrifying having a concussion. I don't have any sympathy for Shane McMahon. He's a billionaire's kid and he's a billionaire himself. He can go himself. But when he was knocked out, I love that concussed Shane McMahon has two choices to make. Just lie down.
Yeah.
Or, well, I'm going to protect myself. I'm Shane McMahon. Like, don't
know what that was, but
something in the very back of his mind, always kick out. Always kick out. What are your kids' names? Don't know. You're going to kick out at 2? 100%. I might kick out at 1, in fact. Like, that's Shane McMahon's core, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, WrestleMania 39 was karma. Anyway, so yeah, I've been at a SmackDown at the Hydro. That was not as hot a time, but was quite a hot a night. So theoretically, with WWE still in its boom, and with the crowds being encouraged to try and top what they've seen at prior events, such as Backlash France, or even Clash at the Castle 2022 in Cardiff, I guess. There is a sense this weekend that there is a competitive energy to the fan base. They want to win it, I guess, for themselves, for Glasgow, for the city. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, by the way. Despite your intro, I don't want this podcast to take on Scotland or Glasgow in a mocking tone. I've had fantastic nights in Glasgow.
I'd love Iron Brew.
I'll create a divide. It's loads better than Edinburgh. There you go.
Ooh, I'm going there for a stag in summer, Edinburgh.
Well, have a great time, but you might as well be in York. Like, Glasgow's actually going to Scotland. But it's a fantastic city, great people, it feels real. The Hydro's an awesome venue. Yeah, I have no doubt this crowd will be up for it.
Yes.
And I think whatever happens on this SmackDown, expect something akin to the episode we had in Puerto Rico, for example.
Yeah.
Just any of these. The Montreal one, I think, is a favourite when Sami Zayn does that promo down the lens about beating Roman Reigns, and he does it he's telling him to, like, F4 off in French.
Basically, get away with anything.
Yeah. Maybe, like, Drew will be on the show and then just speak in such a Scottish dialect that people won't hear him dropping an F-bomb.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, obviously, Saturday night, Drew, huge pap. Piper Niven, who we'll talk about in a second, huge pap. Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, huge pap. And there's a name that's obviously been bounced around a lot since A, this show was announced, and B, the TNA crossover things happened. Say his name and he appears, I believe, in Joe Hendry. Interview with him on the channel, of course. And, there's a lot of speculation whether or not he shows up on Saturday. Could he show up tonight?
Yeah. The clash here? So he's filmed something from, it's funny, he filmed something from Orlando. I think Jordan Grace was like, mate, get the palm trees out of shot. So he's kind of owned it and said, no, I'm in East Kilbride or something.
Wasn't he with Punkers, mate, as well?
Yeah, that's what I can't remember. A Steel.
Yes.
So he was with him in Chicago.
Not Tabatonga.
In Chicago ahead of, I like how we both just went down the biting route. I'm staring at Kenny Omega on your t-shirt. Like, what's his name again? So he's all over the world, and as a result, potentially not in Glasgow, but of course it would behoove him to keep it a secret if he was. As you say, the TNA.
I know Against All Odds is Friday night, but as far as I'm aware, he's not on the card.
No. He was promoting the Summer Tour, but not specifically that, though the Chicago stuff would suggest he's there. Who knows? Who knows where in the world Joe Hendry is right now, but I'm sure if he had his choice, he would be here. There were signs for him on NXT, so the reason he might be in Orlando could be for that 25-man Battle Royal next week, and they might think, not now, not tonight, but I don't know if the listeners/viewers picked up from the start of this podcast, but they're in Scotland, of course.
They are.
Which is where Joe Hendry is from. So who knows? Maybe. I think some fans will say his name even if he doesn't appear.
I think if he's going to show up, I think I know the segment it would be in. And we'll get to that. But it is the go-home show for A Clash at the Castle, as I said. Everything's kind of set in place. You mentioned Drew, Damian Priest.
Yeah.
It's one of those... They could have him. It's not like if he shows up tonight, oh no, the pop's weakened for Saturday night. It's going to be, the roof's going to come off the place.
Yeah.
But again, you've got a Scottish wrestler in another title match in Piper Niven, who could also make an appearance tonight. She's taking on Bayley. And to sort of set that up, Bayley's mate is taking on Piper's mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Naomi wins.
Well, let me just explain the match. It's Naomi versus Chelsea Green.
Where are my manners? Look, there might be a job for you now. Like Samantha Irvin rushed off into that ambulance with Ricochet.
Pat McAfee's got that on lock.
If she wants to help him convalesce. This is weird. We've said this from the start. Like, yes, give Piper Niven a big night. You were, frankly, almost cruel and unusual with your omissions at Clash 22 and indeed Elimination Chamber 2024. If there are wrestlers that would have the night of their lives in these buildings, give them. Most definitely. So Piper Niven, in one respect, a perfect opponent. In another, tricky because Bayley is as beloved here as just about anybody born in Europe, Scotland, England. It doesn't really matter when she's on these shores. She is just, it's 2015 all over.
Yes.
And the UK has never given up on Bayley. So she will, again, I was in the Hydro for that when it derailed the Raw. She was so beloved. I would expect it to happen again. So it's tricky. What do you do here? Do you just let them both get cheered? Do you just let the fans decide?
I think so.
I think if you have Bayley heel on
AJ
Piper
Cody-esque, which we'll talk about again.
Yeah. If you have Bayley heel on Piper Niven, it's going to feel a bit fake. She's just turned babyface. She's kind of got to lean into being the good guy. Naomi's always over, always popular. She could maybe take the heat in this match, and then Piper Niven makes the comeback. Chelsea Green makes the comeback, and Piper Niven helps her, and it's like, way, our favourite's friend has won. I don't think so. I think you treat this as traditional, and like you use tonight, Rumble 94, where you had Lex and Brett announced as winners, and it was a bit of a litmus test. Who are the fans really with here if we announce them both as winners? You only need to have Bayley and Piper Niven as in the corner, but you let the fans show you what kind of reaction each one is going to get, and then lean into that on Saturday.
Yeah, I think... you're right. Naomi wins here, obviously. Piper and Bayley will probably get into it as a result. But you've already sort of done the sort of, wait a second, who's the heel, who's the babyface thing with the Drew, Damian Priest thing. So I think you just do, they're both cheered. Piper's wrestling heel, but a bit like, as you say, AJ in Saudi or wherever. AJ in France.
Yeah.
You do that of the crowd just really like doing this, so we're just going to... Then it's gone are the days where they're just like, ignore the crowd, it's Bizarro World or whatever. People understand these people are from these places. But I think the way you do it is, spoiler alert, because I'm not going to be here for the Clash preview, Bayley wins, and Chelsea Green goes full Heenan on, you bloody failed, you bloody failure. And then Piper just attacks us, so you still get the babyface pop for Piper.
Get the big pop at the end. I do like that. I suppose the one thing about the you mentioned AJ Styles there, we're going to get to him. Of course, like part of it was just a song in France, but like it was his, so he was like stuck with it whether he wanted it or not. Raw was proof, I think, that in this WWE especially, that volume, that noise, that heat, that atmosphere is more vital in the in-ring.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
There were two good matches that fell flat. Good, in inverted commas, that fell flat on Raw because the audience were there for it, as opposed to kind of a pantomime six-person match that was like far more entertaining for the noise. I think, I'm with you, I think ultimately, whilst on another night you're dividing Bayley and I saw William Regal and Christian in ECW in England once, and the same thing happened. William Regal fighting for the ECW title, but Christian was a babyface, and it was the same thing. Like, I was rooting for Christian. I prefer him. Like, it's only Regal. Like, but there was a lot of people that just wanted to see Regal win big in England, and the same problem happened. Ultimately, noise is better than not.
Yes.
And as long as it's not detracting from the match, and as long as it's not hijacking the match, it's not, you say Bizarre World, it's not a beach ball match, is it? There's just going to be heat and energy, and I think it's going to be channeled, and they'll be all right.
Cody will get like a big bagpipe entrance or something.
Drew's getting a lot, isn't he? Drew's getting the bells on
Cody's, everyone loves Cody. What do you reckon he does on this show to set up that? He's already done everything he needs to. I Quit, AJ Styles.
We're not going to do the Clash preview, are we?
Well, you are. I'm not going to be here for it, unfortunately.
Yes. So, can I blow your mind?
Go on. Yeah, you teased this in the office earlier.
It's not my pitch. Ibu of Wrestle Purists,
hey, shout out to him.
As a friend of the podcast, has dropped a take on Twitter that, like, cartoonishly stopped me in my tracks as I was reading it this morning. Eyes bugging out of my head.
Like when Roadrunner stops.
Exactly that, yeah, exactly that. Right.
There you go, Brian. Hamflett said on Roadrunner.
Perfect. Will be Coyote. This podcast has felt like it's been made by Acme for quite a long time, doesn't it? Yeah, so he noted with interest that Cody's mom was on the plane to Glasgow with him. Which is just nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
In theory, ostensibly. Nice to have Mama Rhodes in town to see a part of the world with her son. Or is it? He made the very salient point that in WWE, I Quit matches, babyfaces don't quit out of pain, punishment, and suffering. They quit out of the pain and punishment of others. So it's that kind of...
Or bring back the authority in certain scenarios.
Well, indeed. Yeah. Well, but a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Do what we want, or we're going to break Edge's neck. Edge means a lot to me. Don't break his neck. Fine, I'll give you what I want. That's a great example.
At least we got a whole, 6 weeks without the authority?
What a time to be alive. I think they're really going to go with Ziggler this time. No, so like that's a great example. Baby faces in WWE typically, I know this is different WWE, are just not allowed to like be, I don't know, in pain. Like going right back to the greatest match of all time and the most important finish in the company's history, Steve Austin passed out, he didn't quit.
Yes.
Right, so like in the sharpshooter at WrestleMania 13. So even then, they find workarounds. Cody Rhodes is not necessarily going to pass out from the pain of the calf crusher, but Ibu was pitched the prospect of them putting Mama Rhodes, them being the Good Brothers, possibly Mia Yim, who is in SmackDown, in Glasgow for her match on SmackDown and has reunited with the OC on NXT, being the one that can get physical with Mama Rhodes as a way to...
God.
Yeah, so you're thinking about it, right? And the rationale he has added, that I'm going to add a little bit of flavour to, is that Cody, being a traditionalist, would like to model this on a Flair Steamboat trilogy where the title can change hands. You can sell the rematch where Cody wins the belt back as yet another do or die where you put Cody on like a 1 month chase that nobody would have seen coming, right? Nobody would have seen it coming, and yet I was able to draw some precedent for this. Steve Austin lost the belt to Kane in 98. He lost the belt to The Undertaker in 1999. Christian lost the belt to Randy Orton, which informed their series in 2011 that people fell in love with. I was raging.
Oh, it was like 2 days after he won
when
it,
Orton took the belt.
SmackDown
How
tapings.
could you do this? Surely this was Christian's run. And it was like, no, we're going to run with this. So you're going to
And
get...
he gozzed in Randy's face.
Oh,
Class.
like, I'm not expecting Cody to turn heel off the back of this. But yeah,
Well,
you
he
had it,
spits red, white and blue. Just a reminder.
which I believe it was Big Money Miracle. I apologize if it wasn't, but I'm sure you made the point that now that Mountain Dew have made those like 3 flavors, like 50 flavors of Mountain Dew, 1 for every state in the same can. That's basically...
And God bless the United States.
3 separate cans or bottles of Mountain Dew. Now Cody can actually do the American Nightmare spit that we pitched when he was feuding with Nakamura.
Yeah.
Right? Cody could lose as a result of having to quit to protect Mama Rhodes. Now, who... I'm going to add more to this pitch. Who might have suggested to AJ Styles / the OC, you know the way to get to Cody is to get to Mama Rhodes? Hypothetically, might it be a certain group that have said they've got Cody in check?
The bloodline.
And all of a sudden, it's not so wild, is it?
No.
Big money rematch at Money in the Bank or somewhere, maybe even SummerSlam. Maybe Cody wins it back in a stadium just like he won it in a stadium. I don't know. But like, I am sold on this. Why not? That is what I'm going to think. In the interest of just, they've done a good job of extending a program to get a second match. No, I'm going to go hog wild with this and be like, I think AJ's winning. And I think that's how.
Jeez.
There you go.
That's wild.
Pretend I've never said that when me and Sid do the actual full clash preview. Or for that matter, the predictions video I might do with Phil. Just pretend you've never heard it for the weekend, please. I'm going to recycle it a minimum of 3 times. Shout out Ebu. Thank you.
I think for SmackDown, they're obviously just going to do a back and forth beat up Cody Rhodes, as you've suggested. But I think they should say, Cody, we had a great history together, classic match, obviously in France. And, I'm AJ Styles, I'm the face that runs the place or whatever. But I've decided we're going to give you, me and Gallows and Anderson, we've been thinking we're going to give you a new nickname. You've been called Dashing in the past. You've been called the essence of mustachioed magnificence, the son of a plumber, the interdimensional oddity. Remember that?
Yep.
The American Nightmare. But you know what we're going to call you, Cody? Simple one for you. Mars Bar. You know why? Because tomorrow night you're getting battered.
It's really good.
So.
That's really strong. That is really, really strong.
Is it?
Good brothers. More like Iron Bro.
God, I love Iron Brew. Do you remember the Iron Brew chew bars?
Yes.
When they were 10p?
10p. Get 10.
10p, lose your teeth and get as many as you can.
£1 well spent. Love Iron Brew bars and Vimto bars and Fizzy Cola ones, the really fizzy ones that were like, looked like the same colour as the Undertaker's Frozen Piss trophy. But my God, did they pack a punch. Love them.
I was going to say Cody could be in trouble because I've had a flashback there to when my dad used to, I don't know if this is a thing anymore, if people do this anymore, and I'm fairly certain the statute of limitations has passed. He'd just let me miss the first week of school. We'd go walking in Scotland at the end of summer.
God, fancy, yeah.
It was just, did Ben Nevis when I was like 8. Not a thing.
Did it.
Done it. Completed
Doing
it.
Ben Nevis with the lads.
Completed it, so not bothered.
That's pretty good that you were allowed to miss school.
Well, yeah, it was just back then, wasn't it? They just didn't really care.
No.
Now do they fine people?
Yeah. You actually have to do the math on, and this is math we've done at home, about how much it would cost to potentially pay a fine, because it's not a guaranteed fine, but it's there as a sort of deterrent rather than an actual punishment. If you were to get fined, you have to do the math on how much those fines would cost as opposed to how much a holiday in summer holidays would cost and making the choice. Obviously, it's an irresponsible to take your kids out of school for any longer than maybe a few days to go Ben Nevis. But yeah, we've ran those numbers before, put it like that, because Disney in November versus Disney in August. Are you kidding me, Mickey? Give us a break.
I was going to suggest, one of the things that I used to use to get a bit of an energy boost my dad would break out the Kendall mint cake.
Oh, I hate Kendall mint cake. You'd think that was right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It's a weird colour. It's snack food. It's like, it does something to me. I cannot with Kendall mint cake. I don't like the packaging. They do the packaging. It's like, oh, it's from the war. Like
Because it's from England, isn't it, technically? Kendall's in England.
Here is somebody that likes food that I believe you said, is there a war on when I was talking about what I was having my dinner for today? Did you know that they can put 6 different kinds of meat in one tin? Like Kendall mint cake does something to me. I don't know what it is. It's not a cake either. It's a weird chocolate bar. But I'm sure it was a good energy beat. It's very high in sugar, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say he could snack on that to fire up after he's been busted open by AJ or something. But maybe next some iron brew, eat a bit of haggis. Oh, that's another thing AJ Styles could say. Cody, I hope you dress like people around here dress. What are you talking about? Because on Saturday you're getting kelt.
Good. Could Cody come out in a half and half Glasgow Rangers and Celtics shirt and be like, solved it?
Fixed it. Next. Right, let's talk about the star of Friday Night SmackDown. Talking, of course, of Queen Nia. She looked incredibly dominant before slipping over last week.
Yeah.
In the attack on Michin. She's got to reassert her dominance as queen of the division, doesn't she? And maybe a certain princess could start staking her claim to being a part of this royal court.
Yeah, what... I've got to think about the hardcores here, because for those of us that are all the way locked in, brother, on the Fed, if we see Michin, easily beaten by Queen Nia and her princess Tiffany Stratton, how then can we take seriously her challenge on NXT for the Women's North American title? They've got to square that circle, IMO, because we know.
Kalani Jordan's waiting.
Indeed, right? And if indeed... Michin is to hold Mama Rhodes hostage on...
yes.
Her getting beat would be a good rationale for that. I am going to get desperate. So again, all this pieces together. She loses to Nia with Tiffany's help. She realises that I was on the right lines with the Good Brothers on Tuesday. I do need to get back together. But AJ, when he binned us all off, like he's got history with the Good Brothers, I was kind of like this late edition. How can I get myself back in his good books? Oh, I can steal Mama Rhodes and use her as a distraction. Give him the title, and then he's like, great to have you back. I can't believe you went away. Got a crate of beers for the boys, because I used to love drinking beers. And then she's just full heel, and she's a real piece of garbage to Kalani Jordan to build up to that TV match. It makes it, there's more synergy between the two shows if she turns heel, and you start that with this loss.
Yeah.
I think. Like, outnumbered, needs her stable back.
She actually has the Queen in trouble. She looks like she might beat her.
Yeah.
Nothing's on the line here, of course. But for once, the Queen's not wearing her crown. She takes it off for matches because, be fair. And
like Mrs. Incredible on that stage show at Universal Studios.
Tiffany's, moving on rapidly, comes out, cheering on Queen Nia, but also thinking, I wonder what that crown will look like on my head. She pops it on. Queen Nia's like, what are you doing? That distracts her. She gets knocked down. Michin goes to climb the turnbuckles. Tiffany Stratton jumps on the apron and headbutts Michin, wearing the crown, knocking her down, leaving her in perfect position to be annihilated.
Very good, because then you can do one of our favourite things, which is staring at the prize you desire for 6 months, right? But then, oh no, this is why I've done it. It's completely innocent. I just wanted to help you. Nice fit, by the way. But here it is, yeah. And then you start a Road to WrestleMania between two of them, yeah?
Potentially.
Get this all the way
and she's going to win the briefcase, so she's going to be the one person waiting for the SummerSlam. I just think it works genuinely. I think that works really well.
It's just good booking. We're not just silly accents and racial stereotypes.
No. I don't think it's going to necessarily be done on this show because it feels like it's a slow build. But LA Knight has said he's going to bring the SmackDown to Logan Paul. Logan Paul keeps ducking him.
Yep.
He's hanging out with ex-presidents.
Well, yeah, I hope Logan ducks and he hits Trump by mistake. I said, I hope he ducks and hits Trump by mistake, Siri. She,
got it now, I think.
We know her Siri's voting then in the US elections. LA Knight, earnestly, right, I know that he's obviously probably not going to go wherever that ugly little clandestine meeting with Logan Paul and Donald Trump was. I'm assuming he's not going to go there, but he has got a history with just turning up at places in a Slim Jim car. He rocks up at AJ's house. The promotion, would it be the wildest thing now that like ugly little video has gone everywhere of the two of them like laughing over the United States title? Would it be like on TV, they're like, we all saw the video at the weekend, but like, here's what didn't make it to socials. And then you see them do the handshake and then all of a sudden, burr, 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 and it's like LA Knight outside and, Trump's ushered off or whatever. And like, then like LA Knight
He's got a golf course in Scotland, hasn't he?
Yeah. He does as well. He absolutely does. So he's playing golf with Brian. Don't put this to Photoshop. Wilbourn's button's bad enough for the Great American Bash. He's playing golf with Logan Paul, and LA Knight turns up and just like wallops the pair of them with a 9-iron or something. Got else on that?
Golf puns.
What?
4
Bunker,
green,
crazy golf, windmill.
Yeah, we're just more crazy golfers, aren't we? The natural golfers.
Yeah. Yeah, beats him up on Trump's golf course. That's fine. Is that still a thing?
I don't know if he's still allowed it or not.
Is it? We're saying this, right? Are we doing what like Americans would do about England? Right? It's like, oh yeah, I'm visiting Newcastle. Cool. How was London? Like for all Scotland's big. Are we just being as naive, even though they're just our neighbours to the north? Like it's not in Glasgow, isn't it? Isn't it somewhere near like Aberdeen or something?
It's Aberdeen, eh?
Yeah. It's the Murray territory.
That's not real, is it?
What's that?
It's on the Meany estate.
You big meanie.
Let's have a look. How far is it from the hydro?
Yeah.
Okay.
The hydro to the meanie.
Hydro.
Is this good?
3 hours. 3 hours away.
See in the back of Nicholas's head shaking from side to side. It's not good content, guys. I'm staring at it.
I was just checking up on Logan Paul in the Tetris tournament, of course.
Oh, now this is good content, right? Not least because seeing our heads as Tetris pieces was
class.
sort of perfect. What? How did he get on?
He made it to the second round of the competition,
Right.
Until Scooty beat him.
I think I could take him. Tetris and eating dry cream crackers, graham crackers. I think I could get him.
Want to see a picture of the person who beat him?
Yeah.
It's a child. It's
Oh,
just a
brilliant.
child.
Good, yeah. Let's have a look.
Sort of Justin Bieber looking ass from
kick-
back in the day.
Kicking his ass.
So he got, I don't know what the time it was. Logan got a meager 136 lines.
That's trash.
A score of 231,000, basically.
Logan Paul,
The kid
I'm
doubled
calling
it.
your ass out.
How long do they
Whoop
get?
your ass on Tetris.
4 minutes? I think they get 4 minutes.
How many lines? 130 odd in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's rubbish. Game's gone.
The kid got 167.
These people were too young for shoot Game Boys. You were chasing those batteries running out. You're like, there was no time to waste on old Tetris.
No.
What are we talking about?
Tetris.
Oh, good. Yeah, LA Knight turns up at Trump's golf course and beats them both up with their entire... golf cart law. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens at the Rumble.
Yeah.
LA Knight as a Slim Jim golf cart and he just plows through Trump and Logan Paul's like, oh, that's my friend.
Wait a second. Sorry, just keep thinking about golf stuff for a second.
I got nothing. We can't even land on a pun. Bunker.
So it is... Oh my God.
What is going on in
is
there?
going on up here?
I never know, man.
This Friday, the 14th of June.
Yeah.
When does Money in the Bank take place?
Pass. Soon-ish.
July 6th, so that would be 4 weeks away.
We got there. We finally made some wordplay. Well, now we busted this wide open.
You ever done pub golf?
Yeah, university days. I can't remember the rules, but I remember having to get dressed up in like golf attire, cartoonish.
Drink.
It's loads of drinking, isn't it? What is it? Like,
It's like however many sips you take is how many shots you've taken on that hole, and each place is a hole. So technically you have to do 18 pubs. It's
I remember.
insane.
Well, I remember not. I've never really been a golf fan, but I was certainly less au fait with the rules.
It's like snooker, isn't it? Ugh.
Don't even f***ing dare, mate. I I was less au fait with the rules of golf. So I would always have to keep asking someone, what am I doing again? And then just like neck a shot anyway. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Now you're 4 over. Oh, well, like, I'm 3 sheets, mate. Like, I think I was just getting it wrong, but it was a good excuse to binge drink, which is always what I'm looking for. Don't drink responsibly.
Here's a way to, like we talk about the great reactions, your Puerto Ricos, your Frances, etc. No doubt Scotland are going to be just the same. That's all well and good. I like it when crowds are like, I'm going to kill you. The heat.
Real heat.
What if, apologies to Scottish people before I say this, what if...
Now you're apologising.
Just reflecting their culture at the beginning there.
Wow.
It was glad to be one of us. Disgusting. What if Logan Paul appears, he's at the Tetris tournament or at Impulsive or whatever. Yeah. Logan Paul's like, you bloody idiot. I'm here, like his whole bait and switch thing that he did was done in the past. And guess what? I'm going to be here tomorrow night to set, I don't know, use this as a springboard to set up their Money in the Bank or SummerSlam or whatever, right? Which allows you an extra day, which also allows Germany versus Scotland in Euro 2024 to take place. Logan Paul turns up in a Germany kit if they win. Oh, my
God.
The heat out the goddamn ass.
After he's invited Limmy onto Impulsive and beats him up.
I wouldn't rule it out.
The Germany thing's a great idea. That's going to be like, what a night tonight, by the way.
Oh, my word.
What a night to be in Glasgow. Shout out to my friend.
Got a chance, Shout
out to my friend Gillian, who works at the Science Museum. I hope you're not being overawed by people on the piss for the Euros or SmackDown.
Scott McTominay did very well in qualifying.
I would quite like to see Scotland do well. I don't harbour that kind of like Scottish-English divide sort of thing.
I love an international football tournament. Let me bloody tell you that.
Off the top of your dick, what are the like? Because I've not really looked into the 3 teams qualifying, but it does take a bit of the sting out of the groups, doesn't it? You've got more chance of getting through than not. Like, at what point in the tournament would England face Scotland as a result? Because Scotland stand a decent chance of qualifying with the 3 qualifiers.
Yeah, I don't know.
They'll fancy it.
I've not done the maths on that. I think best case scenario in terms of the right.
Is it a hat or a bracket?
Games. It's 6 groups, top 2 in each group. I don't want to talk about this on the SmackDown preview. The top 2 in each group go through.
Not like us to divert.
But the 4 best third place finishers also go through.
Yeah. So you'd fancy Scotland to get
16
group,
teams in the knockout stage, basically.
And then is it like, because you can't do first versus seconds, you've got to have something for the third. Are they back in a random pot after that? Or?
I don't know. Someone's done the maths and said basically, if we win all our games and they win all their games, we'd play France, I think, in the semis.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Who are like heavy favourites.
Well, no, we're the favourites. We are the favourites.
What's Italy's chances this time, Nicholas?
Yeah.
You're either going to get the Euro winners or you're going to get the people who didn't qualify.
Lost to Macedonia, was it, who knocked them out?
Yeah. I forgot about that, yeah.
And also, bad omens. Sorry, I'm shouting, but I don't know if I
Bad omens, he said. I'll just echo everything.
Because they've turned up in the worst suits I've ever seen the Italian
What?
wear.
Oh, no.
There's this massive space between the collar and the jacket. It looks like they don't fit.
Uh-oh. That's
Italy.
not well. It's Italy, isn't it? It's for their style.
Get off the plane
Yeah.
and look like they're going to be like the best in the world, and literally there's this massive gap between. Or it wasn't just one; it was everyone. Maybe it might be a fashion thing. It looks like ass.
I was watching Attack on Wembley on Netflix last night. I forgot how nice the Italian Euro 2020 kit was. The blue and black. Oh yeah. Normally I'd favour blue and white for the Italy of my youth, but it popped. It popped off.
I'm coming on just to show you this picture because I'm enamored with this picture. Well, not this one, but this one.
Go on over.
Come on over, baby.
I was in a Euro.
Is that what I'm looking at?
No. You know what? You want like, I think it's this stuff up here, but you'll have to get more angles because they're terrible angles. This is great audio for everyone. This, the Leaning Tower of Pisa himself.
Oh,
And the Eiffel Tower.
I like that. That colour is popping off that white sky there on your phone. You've done a great job. Nicholas's phone is as stylish as the man himself.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. There's a mascot.
What?
Hey,
what is going on there?
Yeah. We're going to win the whole. We're going to win the whole.
Inside say George by Asda. Explains a lot.
Yeah.
I'm
Odds.
not judging. I get half my stuff from Asda. The rest from Sainsbury's.
Outright Euro 2024 winner. England favourites, then France, then Germany, Portugal, Spain, Italy, making up the rest of the top 6.
Apologies in advance for the next month about how this might infect our wrestling
home,
coverage slightly.
One final thing to talk about.
Yes.
And that's the Grayson Waller Effect. I mean, this could actually be they could come out in Germany kits tonight.
Kilts.
Braveheart
faces.
So did we mention, or did I just talk about it in the office about them doing a shoey of Iron Brew and spitting it out?
Yeah, we put it on a podcast because we said an Iron Brewy. Sidgwick looked appalled.
That was it.
Yep.
DIY on there because do you think there's going to be a bloodline match added to Clash?
Nope, I don't. I think are they even going to be on SmackDown? They're not advertised, are they?
No, but bloodline, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. Like.
I think they might add the 5 matches. On the card right now. I think they might add a 6th of your Kevin Owens, your Street Profits, your Randy Orton in a trios match against the Bloodline.
We all eagerly await not just the Jacob Fatu debut, but now the Hikuleo one as well. I suppose. I don't think the card needs it. I don't think SmackDown particularly needs this Bloodline. I get it though. I suppose you want to give the crowd. As many of the stars as they can to replicate the experience. The last thing you want is to think, we're getting basically the same people we've already seen in matches.
Yeah.
You do kind of need people that just exist for television rather than having effectively half a roster working twice. That's not what you're getting for your incredibly high-priced WWE experience of the weekend if you've bought the bumper 2-show ticket deal. So yeah, maybe the Bloodline. I actually think they're gifted the opportunity of restraint here. You can't always do it in wrestling. They haven't had to sell you on the 6-man for this weekend. They don't need to add to the card. People are content with Clash. Big home nation favourites, the promise of a huge Drew McIntyre event, whether or not he wins the title. I really think they've not even gotten away with it. They've booked around not needing to give it out now. Triple H's patience is sometimes punishing to some people. This is not one of those cases.
Yeah, and doesn't feel like a B show, does it?
No. They could add it. There's obviously, it's the Bloodline, as you say. That is kind of enough rationale, but I wouldn't personally if I was booking this.
But they may add the tag title match because DIY are on the Grayson Waller Effect. Granted, it's more possibly to do with the issues between Austin Theory and Grayson Waller because Grayson Waller won last week against Johnny Gargano. The weak link potentially in Gargano and Ciampa, and no doubt they'll stir that up a little bit. But who knows? Maybe this is the fast track to getting a tag title match on the pape on Saturday.
I could see that. Definitely could see that. They're obviously sowing the seeds of a split between A-Town Down Under. It doesn't really matter when you get the belts on DIY, I don't think, but you do have to do it. I have my concerns for DIY long term. You've already somehow landed us back at a Ciampa and Gargano feud in 2024, but it's not the wildest pitch, which is the worst thing about this. Get the belts on them, establish them properly if you insist on breaking them up.
If you did the split at SummerSlam.
In Cleveland, Gargano's, oh my God, you're right. Right, yeah, strap them up this weekend, split them up next month. Oh my God, it's happening again.
They'll have money in the bank. They get one pape.
Those long WWE retrospective packages they're pretty good with now on YouTube, where it's the entire history of who is tasked with that? What's on the docket this week? Yeah, we just need to put the Gargano Ciampa footage together. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I think if there's going to be a certain appearance, this is where it happens. I think DIY trick. Maybe Grayson Waller and Austin Theory have got themselves a hired gun for the night to take out because they already know, they've heard from SmackDown GM. I forget what his name is actually.
I remember. Yeah.
They found out he's going to announce it, so they've gone, well, we're meant to announce it on this show, but if we just take DIY out, then no match happens. Sweet. All good. Mm-hmm. But DIY have also heard this, but they've played a clever game that they're going to bring someone out to even the odds for them against all the odds, some might say. I would. And they're going to say, before you reveal the person we know you've got hiding under the ring or whatever, or behind one of the... They have palm trees in the Grayson Waller Effect?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Or just someone dressed as a palm tree.
Something to make this work. I want it.
Yeah, someone's has got a palm, and you're like, that looks like a person.
I like that, actually. Reminds me of the enormous crocodile that Roald Dahl book I was telling you about, because he tried to be a palm tree before that stinking elephant grassed him up.
Iron Brew flavoured Prime. Let's write that one down. Just
Prime Brew.
Haven't got an orange. They have got an orange Prime, actually.
I don't know.
The taste of they're all delicious. Give it to your kids.
Don't
Anyway,
let my kids drink it. No.
So, here's what happens.
Yeah.
They say, before you bring out the monster that you've got hiding under the ring or whatever, we've just got a question for you. What would happen if a Samoan who used to work here but now teams with Hook over there had a child stick with me, with one of the greatest snooker players of all time, who was a prodigious young talent? What possibly would they call them? And they'd say, what? Samoa Joe and Stephen. Well, they'd be called Joe Hendry. Catch themselves. The other one says, you've done it. You've done it. You've made us say his name. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
We got there.
You've done it. Counter offer.
Go on.
DIY.
Stephen Hendry appears.
DIY.
Hit some of the snooker cue.
Just backstage, exhibiting. They're just in suplex class.
Okay.
They brought some performance center training over, right? Beautiful, arched suplexes like that. And Grayson Waller Effect, like, do you not realise we can watch the television show? This is not WWE from a couple of years ago. We've seen you doing suplex class. We can counter your bridges and DIY like that's what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Bridges, and he's the third man. And
he's the third man.
Yeah, and I'll sum up with Billy Connolly. I don't f***ing know. Like, Samoa Steven. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hook Ronnie O'Sullivan. I'd rather that than the other option.
Who'd you like in snooker?
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Other than Rocket. Who's the one who had that?
Dennis Taylor. Don't reduce him. It was for a snooker reason.
What was it? His glasses fell down his nose.
You would know this because you're an uncultured swine, but if you play snooker with your glasses on, it can actually be quite difficult to get a right view on the balls. The table is long enough to actually make the game a f***ing challenge, you charlatan. So the glasses actually aided his sight lines.
It doesn't help doing this podcast. They're a bloody nightmare. Go back to normal.
No, Ronnie O'Sullivan, probably the most underrated sportsman in the history of all sports.
Really,
the 147. 147 is the hardest sporting achievement of them all. Think about it, it's maths and science, mate.
9 dart, probably Luke Littler, my favourite.
Shut up.
Right, let's leave it there before it really kicks off. Let us know your thoughts ahead of SmackDown on X or in the comment section. We're at WhatCulture WWE on Twitter. Well, actually, you can follow both of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow our brilliant producer and fashionista at It's Adam Nicholas. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts.
Wrestling ones.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Not all
Collision preview, probably coming out later. I'm not here, so I don't know.
We'll do it. We're going to do it.
Okay, fair enough. And we'll be back on Monday.
Maximum male models are on it. I actually want to talk about that show for the first time in a year since Punk was
It's
on
only
it.
been going a year as well.
Oh yeah, I like the first 8 episodes. I wonder why.
We'll be back
I like the first 8 episodes of Collision, then I really enjoyed some certain backstage from All In, which I call Collision Extras. And then I kind of lost interest.
We won't be reviewing SmackDown on Monday. We'll, of course, be reviewing Clash at the Castle. But do enjoy that and enjoy SmackDown tonight, where, of course, it is the Clash at the Castle go-home show. You got Queen Nia versus Michin. LA Knight has promised to bring the SmackDown to Logan Paul. DIY are on the Grayson Waller Effect. Chelsea Green takes on Naomi. And will Joe Hendry show up?
The SmackDown preview. It's got all this and so much more.
I'll see you soon.